Ever worried about someone breaking into your home? Of course you have. We all have. Now imagine living in a time with no cameras, no alarms, no smart locks. Just a healthy dose of paranoia and a whole lot of creativity. In those days, people didn't just lock their doors. They rigged them. They disguised them. They literally weaponized them. Today, we're digging into the most absurd, yet completely real, security measures humans actually used to protect their valuables long before modern technology ever existed. Some of these are pure genius. Some are completely unhinged. But every single one of them actually happened. This is history's Home Security Hall of Fame, or maybe Hall of Shame. You decide. Before motion sensors, laser grids, and silent alarms, security was deeply, deeply personal. If someone wanted what you had, the only thing stopping them was whatever strange, desperate idea you came up with at 2 in the morning while imagining thieves lurking in the shadows. This created a bizarre arms race between homeowners and criminals. Every new lock just inspired a new lock-picking technique. Every clever hiding spot eventually got discovered. And that desperation led to solutions that were less home security and more DIY psychological warfare. Think of it as a time when your best defense wasn't a strong door, but a truly disturbed imagination. People weren't just trying to keep intruders out. They were trying to make them regret ever being born. And trust me, some of these methods would make a modern-day thief just turn around and go home. Forget locks. For many, the best security wasn't about prevention, but about consequences. People wanted intruders to know they'd made a terrible, terrible mistake. Tripwires were a common favorite. But they weren't attached to a quiet beep. They were attached to falling objects. We're talking heavy stones, sharp metal bars, or even entire shelves of pots and pans, all designed to come crashing down the moment someone crossed a threshold. It was a crude, brutal, and frankly, very loud way to say, "Get out." Others set up even simpler noise traps. Imagine walking into a dark room, only for your first step to send a cacophony of bells, cymbals, and chains crashing together, waking not just the entire household, but probably the whole street. And for those who wanted to make sure justice was served later, there were early versions of die traps. The goal wasn't to stop the thief in the moment, but to mark them permanently with a bright, unmistakable color. This way, the entire community would know exactly who tried to steal your stuff. It wasn't subtle. It definitely wasn't safe. But you can bet it was effective. Of course, not everyone wanted a chaotic mess in their living room. Some people took the opposite approach. Instead of defending their valuables with brute force, they simply hid them so well that thieves never even knew they existed. This was the art of hiding in plain sight, and people got incredibly creative with it. We're talking fireplaces with secret compartments hidden behind a loose brick. Floorboards that would only lift up if you pressed them in a very specific, secret order. Bookshelves that weren't just bookshelves, but entire walls that rotated to reveal small, hidden vaults. One of the most common and brilliant tricks was hollowed out everyday objects. Thick books, the leg of a chair, even the wooden frame of a door could be turned into a tiny, secret safe that no one would ever think to check. Why build a big, obvious vault that screams "rob me" when you can hide your life savings inside a boring old history book? The safest vault wasn't made of steel. It was made of boredom. The thief would get tired of looking long before they found your treasure. Now, if you didn't have the engineering skills for a secret rotating wall or the patience to hollow out a book, there was another option. Outsource the job to nature. Long before electronic alarms, some people relied on animals as their first line of defense. And no, I'm not just talking about a barking dog. Geese were surprisingly popular security guards. Why? Because they're incredibly territorial, surprisingly aggressive, and absolutely impossible to silence quietly. If a stranger approached, the entire neighborhood would know about it, thanks to a chorus of furious honking. But some estates took it a step further. They used animals that didn't just alert, they threatened. It wasn't uncommon for people to keep snakes near their valuables. Not trained snakes, not friendly snakes, just snakes. The idea was simple and terrifyingly effective. Even if you managed to find and steal something, is it really worth the risk of a venomous bite? It was the ultimate gamble. Unpredictable? Absolutely. Effective. Also, absolutely. It's a bold strategy, turning your treasure chest into a potential death trap. Looking back at all this, it's easy to laugh at these methods. A tripwire attached to a bucket of rocks? A goose as a security system? It sounds like something out of a cartoon. But these strange solutions reveal something deeply human about us. When people feel threatened and lack the tools we have today, our creativity explodes. Logic starts to bend a little, and raw ingenuity fills the gaps where technology doesn't exist. The truth is, many of these methods actually worked. Not because they were technologically advanced, but precisely because they were so bizarre and unexpected. No thief expects to be attacked by a goose or have a shelf fall on their head. Modern security with its codes and cameras may be smarter and more reliable. But it has never been, and will never be, this wildly imaginative. So now the question is simple. If all modern technology disappeared tomorrow and you had to protect your home, what would you come up with? Drop the weirdest, most creative security idea you've ever heard or could invent on the spot down in the comments. I want to hear your most unhinged ideas. And if learning about these absurd human inventions made you feel a little better about your modern alarm system, hit that like button, subscribe for more weird history, and as always, stay curious.